Oh, wait. Oh, all right. We still have a problem with it. Oh, we still have to get the premium account. Oh, it won't let me. I have to close I guess I have to remove the X one because it won't start the. Are we streaming or are we not? Because it's a little
We're
weird.
streaming. I can see
Okay,
it.
okay. Sorry. It says I'll just put remove here for the. We can't stream to X right now, which is okay. Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome to the Tom's Hardware Podcast, streaming on Facebook and YouTube, and X again someday. So we have a very special guest today. We have Paul from Pimoroni, and we have some really amazing stuff to show you that comes from Pimoroni, which always has like the coolest stuff. It's like whenever you're talking to Pimoroni, it's like I feel like James Bond going to see Q, and you're like, here, what are the new gadgets? What are the new cool things? And like, it's just awesome. Like, I always tell people, if when the holiday comes around, oh, do you want a gift certificate or something? Don't get me Amazon, get me Pimoroni.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
so it's always exciting to have you on. And what cool things do we have now? I know Les actually has one in front of him in the Pico 2 Jumbo.
Yep. It's all RP2350 Pico 2.
Wow.
Nice. So yeah, functional, 350% scale Pico.
It's hilariously large, mate. It's fantastic fun.
Show the other side, that's better.
Get into that.
Okay, fine.
I'm selling the sizzle, not the sausage. All right.
So what made you decide to go with that size as opposed to bigger?
So it was the size of crocodile clips. Those terminals there are perfect for croc clips. And once you've dialed that in, then you work out the thickness of the board, and then from that you work out the scale. And yeah, 3.5 times works out about right.
I think that's just so fantastic for learning, right? Like one of the big.
We just made it for putting on shelves and looking cool. I suppose if you want to use it for education, sure.
It is handy for educational. You've got the pin out references, the physical pins and the GPIO references on the back.
Actual numbers in the right places. So yeah, it's for education. It's so the teacher can hold it up at the front of the class and say, "Here is a big one. It looks the same size as yours, children, because you are far away."
Well, I also think, and maybe I'm wrong. I also think that for younger folks who may not be, I don't know, like my son doesn't have the best hand-eye coordination or whatever, to be able to work with a larger board probably is easier.
Yep.
Obviously no soldering involved because you don't need pins, which I think is really cool. And then if you're the teacher, you probably can more easily see the problems or what the kids are doing from across the classroom as well. So
yeah, I think that's all very valid. I think the other thing we need to crack is crop clips. They're just for little kids, they're too hard to press, right?
Yeah.
Somebody needs to do a kind of low effort crop clip.
Yeah, because I'd like to get my I would love to have like my 5-year-old play with it. When I was a few months ago here at my job, we had a bring your kids to work day thing, and we had activities for the kids that came, and there were kids of different ages who came. So there were some kids who were like teenagers and some kids who were like toddlers, and I did one of the activities, and my activity was working with a breadboard. So I taught the kids how to like make a light, light up and make. And I think we also did a speaker beeping and a couple of things like that. It's just a really basic circuit without any microcontroller.
Sorry, this is the face of a man who's just realised he doesn't know where his Explorer is. I put it in the bag, I swear I did.
But I think this is really cool because now you have something that you could really use with a classroom in the classroom.
Yeah.
Well.
Yep. We mentioned about croc clips being hard for kids to open, and I agree. Been working with kids a few years ago. Croc clips are difficult. We've had to prise them open at times for the kids to actually use them. But I just thought, I wonder if banana plugs work.
They work, and as long as you've got the right size ones.
Yeah, well, I've got two sets.
You have to force them in, though.
Yeah, it's a bit dodge, but it works.
Makes a really good connection, but it works.
Yeah, there you go. I'll bang it in a ground so I don't blow anything up. So that'll be a really bad day. There we go.
Yep.
There you go. And we're in ground. So they work as well.
Yeah. We've managed to keep the price just under 350% of the basic Pico.
Yeah,
which I mean is very significant.
So we're teaching kids maths. Nice one.
It seems like a really great, it's a great price too. Only I think you guys have the kit with the clips and some lights for 28 pounds and the board for 15.
It includes croc clips and includes kind of resistors as well. So can I even get this in focus?
YouTuber tip. There we go. He's doing it.
There we go. Yeah. No, it's still not working anyway because I've done manual focus. Let's switch to the main cam. I'll do it on here. There we go. So we've done extra large resistors in there. So they are huge resistors.
Wow. One watt resistors.
Yeah. They work at being large resistors, and the 10mm LEDs as well. So
I remember them.
A little bit scaled up. And yeah, if you go back to the table, sorry, I'm just the worst backseat driver. This one also has 3D printed parts.
I saw that earlier. I need to do that.
These are actually on Thingiverse already. These were done by Hell's Other Half at Pirate Towers, and they've got the shroud there for the USB and also the 2-color pin headers.
Wait, so where did the pins come from?
The internet. You 3D print them.
Oh, they're 3D printed pins.
I think they might not be on Thingiverse. They might be on Principles. Because that's where the cool kids are these days.
Right.
Wow,
right.
I'm a cool kid. Nice one.
There you go. Yeah.
So you can't.
And that just brings it all together. It's a nice 3D printing project.
Can you use the pins though? Because they'll be plastic, right?
They will be, yeah. I think conductive filaments are still a bit kind of ropey. The kind of copper filaments and all that don't really conduct well, do they? Or the carbon fiber ones.
What about M3 screws? That would work.
Yeah, you could definitely make something up, or threaded rod or something like that.
Yeah, I remember the old trick for the microbit was you'd use M3 or M4 screws, put them in, and countersunk screws, and have a nut on the back to hold it in place. You could also use breakout wires from it with ring connections on them.
I think with the right diameter, you could actually get yourself some square copper section as well. Chop that down and actually solder copper. That would be next level. I'd love to see that. Whoever does that, they get a free Pico Jumbo at least.
That's cool. That's cool.
They're going for that monstrous amount of effort.
But it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Got the LED shining through there as well.
Yeah.
This one, the LED's always on, because what we did is before we got a Pico 2 to prototype with, we assumed that the test pad on the Pico 2 was in the same place as the Pico W, and it's not. The Pico W and the Pico 2 have their LED test pads on the base in slightly different places, and we failed to clock that. So now the LED is always on unless you press the boot switch.
It's a feature, not a bug, so it's fine.
Yeah, well, that's why we've gone on pre-order and delayed it a couple of weeks. We're just waiting for the final ones that fix that.
So, do you think you'll do a follow-up when there's a Pico 2W?
Yeah, probably, definitely.
I mean, as long as
Yeah.
the pinout matches, it's not a
Yeah.
massive job, is it? It's just swapping out the
Yeah.
Pico 2 for Pico 2W.
Yeah, I think we'd upgrade to just Pico 2W because carrying both seems a bit surplus. You only
Yeah.
need one overly large one.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I think that's just going to be a great learning tool for people. I'm trying to think about how I could use one to teach some people. So that, like, taking it, because I like microbit, but microbit is kind of its own thing. Whereas here you're going to be using standard MicroPython. You're going to be learning how to work with, with the Pico ecosystem. So seems like a really cool thing to do. And speaking of really cool things, Les has set up the new Picade.
Oh yeah, I spent a little more time than Paul's done building it. He spent 2 hours. Mine was over a few days here and there, just taking it easy, chilling out, relaxing. But I've got it behind me now to set up. So if that's to the side, there is a slight delay on the camera. It's a Wi-Fi camera. So if you see any glitches on here, it's because of the camera. That's running silky smooth. So Picade Max, and next to it for scale, well, we have Banana for scale, but also a Picade version 2 for scale next to it. It looks tiny. It's minuscule. This thing is huge. It's about 50 centimeters wide and it's about 50 or 60 tall, something like that, Paul. Can't remember exactly.
Yeah. 441 millimeters wide.
Boom. Thank you very much. It's on a mat which is 420 wide, so I should know that.
Hey, there we go.
It took a while to build, but it wasn't a laborious process. It wasn't a case of, oh no, I've got to build more arcade machine parts. It was a nice build. So I'm one of the
it's a good process, a good journey, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm one of the beta testers. I did find a few hiccups here and there with the instructions, which I've sent over to the team and they amended them. So when it becomes retail in October, I do believe, those will all be ironed out and you'll have a silky smooth experience. But I've only had a few little issues with this, nothing major. I built 3 Picades now, starting with the original one back in the dawn of time, I think it was. That's in the loft at the moment.
2015, almost 10 years ago now, right?
Wow. I feel old. I've also gone for the red buttons on the left, which is very controversial.
No, I think I'm going to swap the art there because I've been called out on that, and that's the right call.
Yeah, Dave Honus, ex-Raspberry Pi Limited employee, he called me out on Mastodon about that, saying blue on the left, it should be red. Come on. I totally agree. I will be changing the buttons, and one of the good things is you can change the buttons for anything that you've got from an arcade supplier. So I've got in my original Picade here some third-party ones that are very nice neon-looking ones because it matches the silk screen, the printing on here. Probably going to change these for some illuminated ones. I don't know which ones yet. Maybe plasma, maybe something else. But you've got 2 types of buttons. You've got big ones and small ones. I've changed the joysticks for bats because I prefer bats to balls on here. And it's just a standard. You just got more grip for the fighting games. Street Fighter 2, X-Men, The Simpsons, Mrs. Pounder does love playing The Simpsons arcade game. So literally just screw straight on, no issue. And that's the whole thing about the build. All I needed was a screwdriver. Yes, I use an electronic screwdriver, but you could use any screwdriver you've got to build it. It doesn't take that much time. If you dedicate a day to it so you can chill out and relax and build it at your own pace, no problem whatsoever. But
better than IKEA, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically, it's technical IKEA, this. Inside, you've got the boards for the audio, which is an RP2040 based board. It's just a USB sound card, and that's very popular at the minute. You've got the Gravis sound card being emulated with RP2040. It's really popular to do that. I can see that board, the what's it called, the Max Audio, Paul?
Yep.
I can see that being used by people who want to build their own retro devices or to incorporate sound where there isn't sound in the device. That would be quite useful. You've also got an absolutely huge board for the controls. So you've got loads of inputs. Yeah, it's It's about that long in the back of it. It's huge. And it all connects using DuPont connections. So you can plug in your connections for the buttons and the joysticks. Easy peasy. And I've got a selection of games running at the moment. So I've got a few of my favourites. Hence, they're in the favourites. I've also turned the sound down for copyright reasons, just in case. But this is Aliens on MAME. So Aliens is really big at the minute. Alien Romulus is out. I've still not seen it. I want to. I also want that really cool popcorn thing you can get. I did turn the sound down. Maybe not. No. So I've got a sound wheel.
Wow. How did you do that, Les?
Well, there's a magic wheel on the side that makes the sound go down.
That's
Finally, after 10 years, we put a volume control hardware on it.
That's good. That's really useful.
Yeah. Volume control, you can press the button to mute it as well. You've got a soft power switch on the side. Just slightly tilt it. There you go. Just about there. Soft power button. So you just do a little bit of jiggery pokery with some Linux commands. And yeah, you can turn it on and off easy peasy with this.
Oh, that's got the feel, man. With the aliens running on it, that's got the feel of a childhood.
Emulation as well. I thought I'd take it up a notch. So Crazy Taxi, this is a Dreamcast version. So Sega Dreamcast are emulated now on a Pi 5. It's a Pi 5 4 gig inside, not the Pi 5 2 gig, segue. But 2 gig will do emulation really well as well. I managed to get GameCube running Zelda Wind Waker on a Pi 5 2 gig. No problem. So,
have you seen any improvements from having the NVMe for these newer games?
Yeah, loads a lot faster. A lot faster. Good. So I've got an NVMe inside here, 256 gig on a Pimoroni NVMe board. Flawless. All the games run fast. Scraping data off the net, it chucks it on, assigns the files to the images, no problem. So I just press the hotkey in that to go back to Recall Box. Got to play this for Andrew, who'll get angry. He loves X-Men. He said I had to turn this into an X-Men cabinet. But it is a lovely two-player cabinet. So I'm a big lad. So I can stand on the left-hand side and play. We played The Simpsons and Mrs. P on this about 4 or 5 hours ago. Just for testing purposes, obviously. And I could get in the corner, she could get there, and we could play, and we could beat up people in Springfield.
Yeah.
No problem.
You have to be good friends, don't you? But it works.
I've known her 20 years, so it's fine.
It's all right at this stage. You can do that.
But lovely bright screen. The sound, when I had it on a second ago, is really loud, but also there's no distortion. I had this on, and it was playing... What was it playing? Some game had drum and bass. I think it was a shoot 'em up I was testing, and it had some serious drum and bass going on. I went downstairs to go and get a drink, and I heard it in the kitchen. That's the floor and the whole other side of the house. I still heard it.
The whole thing is basically a woofer, isn't it?
Yeah. And yes, Phil. Yes, mute is free. Yes, I know. We had a little hiccup earlier on today where I pressed the button on the side to mute it, and it wouldn't unmute. And apparently there's a new firmware to fix that. Cheers, Phil. Thanks, mate. But I will show you not how to unmute it, but this isn't strictly Pimoroni. This is more Recall Box, which is the emulation system that's running all this. You can have custom startup videos. So I went into DaVinci Resolve earlier today, got some assets from Pexels, I think it was, mashed it all together with some weird and wonderful wipes and color sequences, and made a boot video, because that's what you should do. It's your arcade cabinet. The whole thing about this is to make it your own. So there is the loading wheel. Let's say it's starting up. There you go. It's only about 4 seconds long, but good bit of fun. And I've just got to turn the volume down now, so I'll start playing some songs. But this is all your arcade cabinet. So you can take things apart. I can take the buttons out. I can take the joysticks out and replace them with bats. I can put different buttons on with lights. I'm going to do a hack later on. Once I've got the photographs done for the review for this, this is going on. Hang on, wrong camera. There we go. It's over there. That one.
Yeah. We're working on some scripts for that as well. so you can actually hook it up to do marquees in pixel glory.
Nice. So there's actually a kit in the box that has all the diffusers set up for Galactic Unicorns. Go straight on, just screw it in place, and you can have scrolling text of your games and all sorts of whiz bang stuff. That's going to be going on.
So you can mount it easily?
Yeah. Yes, it's got holes
for it.
Yeah, if I go to my main camera now so you can see it just a bit clearer, there are mounting holes all the way around.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, whether there's holes for it on the arcade.
He's getting there.
Picade.
Yeah, they've got corresponding holes. That's what I was getting to. They've got corresponding holes on here to match on the Picade, so you can just screw it straight into place.
Some screws.
Very nice. And then, is there an easy way to route the USB to power it?
We'll soon find out. So your USB connection micro USB is there. So perhaps a right angle cable from Amazon might do the job, just to tidy it up and do a bit of cable tidying just around the back.
Yeah, I think one of our standard ones should work all right as well. And there's plenty of room for it to drop down.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great idea. That's such a great idea. Then you can kind of make it transform it into any kind of machine. I kind of like to see maybe people create animations for different games.
Yeah. Well, Recall Box has a feature. I was looking through this afternoon, sometime today, where you can work with a second screen Recall Box, and it sends different data to that screen. So not just your game is on the main screen. You have extra data. So it could have marquee art on there. So if it can do that, there's a possibility we could hack something together to do even just like the marquee art on this in very low 8-bit quality. Would be really cool. I would match the aesthetic of the old arcades.
Yep. That is awesome. So I hate to ask Paul this because this is almost possible, but these are almost impossible to top. But is there anything else new we should going on at Pimoroni we should know about?
Okay, so I think we've got the full rack of boards here. We've got the tiny 2350, which is, tiny.
No, wrong one. Sorry, mate. Pick a camera. There we go.
There we go. Tiny. So that's now, we've dropped the debug pads and we've now got a Quest connector on there. But otherwise, it's got the RGB, LED, and all the other stuff. We have the PGA. So if you want a minimal 2350B, which is the big chip, B for big, that's on there with all the pins broken out. So you can do whatever you like with it. We've already put the basic power and flash and RAM on there. So that is a fully loaded RP2350 for your hacking pleasure. We've got the Pico Plus, which again, 16 meg of flash, 8 megabytes of PS RAM, which is now something the RP2350 does natively. And it's not as fast as main RAM, but it's still plenty fast. And it gives you 8 meg of storage, 8 meg of RAM rather, which on a chip that's got 520 base RAM, that's a heck of a lot more RAM. And we've got Sheffield's ghostly cooling towers there.
What would you do with it? What would you do with the RAM? Frame buffers?
Yeah, frame buffers are very much a go-to. Anything that needs a lot of data dumping quickly. Internet stuff where you need to download images, anything like that, then it's just useful working space.
Great.
Very cool.
And we've got a preview of one thing that we've mentioned obliquely. We made this for another product, but we're including it in the Explorer starter kit. It's a sensor stick.
Oh, cool.
And that is just a Quest connector with 3 useful sensors on there. So I think you can read it.
Yeah, temperature, accelerometer, and light lux.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
So temperature, pressure as well, isn't it? And humidity.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of sensors in one stick that you can plonk anywhere and just play around with it for not a lot of money. And the one I don't know, oh, there we go. Yeah, Explorer. My fave.
That's a nice one.
the other one with a full color PCB on there with tasteful exploratory artwork. And that is an evolution to its hopefully more or less final form of the Explorer line from way back when we were doing the Explorer Hat Pro and Explorer Hat.
Yeah.
Massive screen, servo connectors, breadboard, Quest connectors, speaker on the back, and lots of nice tactile buttons. And it looks pretty.
So does the Explorer come with the Pico built in, or do you bring your own Pico?
Pico built in this time. So we've included the 2350B on there. Yeah, the big chip again.
Nice.
Big chip.
Oh,
and I think that one just has the flash. We didn't need the RAM on that particularly because the screen is 320 by 240. We can fit that in the new larger memory fairly easily.
Yeah.
Do you think that that once it gets Wi-Fi, the 2350 will or the Pico 2 will start to replace the Pico in some of your other products, or do you not see the need, like on things like the badges?
Yep. There's going to be new badges and toughies down the road, but they really need wireless.
Yeah, no question.
At some point, we're probably going to update the Galactics, the Stellar Unicorns, but really, they don't need the upgrade so much, so it's a nice to have rather than must have.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah. It's real, because I could totally see you could do even more with the added horsepower. So that's really
power saving, security. I think you're going to get a better internet experience when you're downloading data.
Have you found a use for the RISC-V chips? For the RISC-V cores, I should say?
There's examples out there. We haven't really used them in anger yet. I think there's nothing particularly special that they do. The fact they exist and you can use them to do all the stuff that the ARM does pretty much is very much the point.
I see. So I mean, it's pretty much you're just experimenting with them to learn about RISC-V.
Learn about RISC-V, get to use it in anger, and decide if maybe you can use it, make your own chip, whatever, and just get that kind of open source down to the atoms thing out there, because that's really the special bit.
Right, but it's not. You haven't really found a use where you'd rather use it than the ARM cores, or it benefits one of your products.
No, there's nothing special. Again, it is just that there is an option, and having that choice is good. And it being in something as mainstream as a Raspberry Pi microcontroller, that's a big step.
Yeah, very true. It gets in the hands. It's nice and cheap. They can play around with it. And the RISC-V cores, I've not done anything in anger. I've done an OLED screen and scrolled some text across it and some images. But it was just as easy as I was using an ARM core. No problems. MicroPython just went, okay, I'll just do it. The libraries just worked.
Yep. I say Luke does good stuff, and the source is just up there on GitHub. So you can go out there and just make your own chips. Start knocking them out in the shed.
Have you found performance to be about the same?
It's hard to nail it down, but people reckon it's somewhere between the 2040 and the 2350 in terms of kind of what kind of data and numbers it can chuck around.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So it's just an amazing collection of stuff. When for folks who want to buy some of these things, when are they coming out?
So for the 4 products, the Pico Plus, the PGA, the Tiny, and the Plasma have been shipping since day one. I think we're just making them as fast as we can at the moment. The Pico 2 itself, that's been shipping. We've just shipped out all of batch 1, and I think we're waiting about 3 weeks for batch 2. The Explorer and Pico 2 Jumbo 1 will be a couple of weeks while we wait for new boards, and then we can ship those out. Yeah.
And the Picade is going to be October?
October, yeah. We finally ran out of... We didn't keep an eye on the plastic brackets, And when we need to reorder them, we need to order tens of thousands, and they take weeks to come. So we've shot ourselves in the foot there, and we're now waiting for the slow boat to come with thousands, tens of thousands of black brackets.
Oh, is that the black angle brackets?
Yep.
They're awesome. They're also great for IKEA furniture, just saying.
Yep. Very good universal bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you need to make boxes, they're minimal. They keep out of the way. Yeah.
So James asked, will Pimoroni make a jumbo Raspberry Pi 5 or CM4?
Oh man, we could, but yeah, I think Eben will probably come after us then.
Isn't there one on the wall at Raspberry Pi or something? Who did we talk to? Les, that had like a giant Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, Toby knocks that up.
Yeah, Toby made one Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was at the gallery. It's Cambridge, wasn't it? In the shopping centre. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool, but I don't think anyone else can make one outside of Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, we got special dispensation to make the jumbo.
Right. Well,
cool.
That's an incredible tool and incredible innovation. Once again, I really recommend everybody check out Pimoroni. It is a great place to find just all kinds of great things. It's like a toy store for adults and kids. The toys are all ways of learning or using electronics to really better your life. So, just incredible work. It's incredible to have Paul on as always. We will thank you all for watching and listening. We will be back again next week, the 27th, at our usual time of 2 p.m. US, 7 p.m. UK time. And we will see you all then. Bye, everyone.